Hi, friends and readers. This is Aaron Johnson, the author of the National Park Mystery Series. And two joys of my life are reading and exploring. And if I can be doing that at the same time, reading outside in a beautiful place, it's the best. But a third joy is being able to share my experiences in the form of stories, whether that's fiction or real. And we're starting a series that we're going to be sharing with you. I'll be sharing with you about some of my experiences in the national parks. And this first one is about how I discovered a place called the Apache Fort while reading an old history book, and then how our family went to find it. I'm going to share with you some maps, stories, and some photos. So let's jump in. All right, this is where it all starts. I was doing research for Mystery in Rocky Mountain National Park, and I stumbled upon this great document historical background data on Rocky Mountain National Park. Most people would find stuff like this boring, but I find it absolutely fascinating. And on page 19, I learned about this place called the Apache Fort, and the story comes from a guy whose his name is Sherman Sage. He actually fought in the Battle of Little Bighorn. And the story is told in 1914. So this group, this is Sherman Sage right here, Gunn Griswold, Shep Husted. He was a local. These two grew up in the area. I think Tom Crispin did as well before they relocated to the Wind River Reservation up in Wyoming. And then this guy's last name is Toll. He was an ethnographer, and this was a student who was doing a lot of the recording of the information. But their mission in 1914, before it became a park, they took 2 weeks to document and learn some of the Native American names, particularly the Arapaho names for different peaks, bodies of water, and they were also pointing out where there were things like stacked rocks that would commemorate like where the tribes would have stayed when they were in the park, would have camped in the park. So during this time, Sherman Sage told a story about when he was about 4 years old. There were a group of about 50 Apache warriors who attacked his family and his tribe. And these warriors got on top of a kind of like this hill rock outcropping. And they built like a 3-foot high fence by just stacking rocks. So it's not a fort in the sense of like a barricade created with like lodgepole pine or something that were cut down. This was just like a makeshift, very quick way to protect themselves as they were shooting down on the Arapaho who were encamped or either traveling along the old Ute Trail. So I heard about this and I was like, I need to find this place. And as it was described, it was on this old ranch, which is now the Upper Beaver Meadows area of Rocky Mountain National Park. So we went to find it. But first I checked my map. I was like, okay, could it be on the map? So here's Moraine Park. This is kind of a central point in Rocky Mountain National. Moraine Park Campground. You might know, like in the story, this is where Jake and his family stay. It's like their base of operations. And this is the Upper Beaver Meadows area right in here. And nothing was on my map. Not even like you might see one of these little stars or a little, that indicates a building, so there's no landmark even noted in this area. So I thought, we should talk to rangers. So we went to Rocky Mountain National Park, went to the Beaver Meadows Visitor Center. So let's go there real quick. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So here's Moraine Park again. And then Beaver Meadows Visitor Center. It's right here. And we're going to zoom in on it. And I'll show you where we were when I had a conversation with 3 rangers. So yeah, this is probably a good viewpoint. So this facility is really cool. It was built actually by one of the apprentices to Frank Lloyd Wright. So you can see the design looks very similar to something that Wright would have made. Here's Long's Peak in the background. And right about where these folks are walking, there were 3 rangers, 2 probably in their late 20s, one who's in his 50s. And I got to talking with them. I brought my map and just asked them, "Hey, have you guys been to the Apache Fort? We're looking for it, and I was wondering if you had any specifics on it." And they all three looked at me with like very wide eyes because they'd never heard of it. And I was like, and they're like, "How did you find out about it?" And I told them the story of reading through the book and reading the story myself, and they were fascinated, and they were then asking me, and I was saying, well, I think it's right here because it's supposed to be just kind of south of the old Ute Trail where it gets its start here in Upper Beaver Meadows. And they were like, well, we're going to try to find it ourselves.